The album For All the Dogs dropped, it seems like everyone and their mamas had something bad to say about it. But with Joe Budden's review, it seemed a little more personal.
Yo, dog, I had to look up how old this nigga was when I finished listening to the album. You are 36. I'm want to hear adult Drake rapping for adult people. I miss the Drake that was rapping for the rappers. I miss the Drake that when he dropped, the rappers hit him. Overall, I do like the album. But I was let down. Get the away from some of these younger and stop these 25-year-olds.
He might have found himself tied with Michael Jackson for the most #1 hits by a male solo artist, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Drake is firing on all cylinders. At a time which should have represented his ultimate triumph, he's wrestling with an identity crisis that's been going on for the better part of the last 5 years. Faced with accusations of phoning it in, Drake's latest album, For All the Dogs, is among the worst reviewed of his career, leaving both fans and critics feeling shortchanged by its lengthy runtime and filler tracks. Sprinkling in a couple of genuinely great, maturely crafted tracks with a whole array of songs that should have never been conceived nor taken out of the studio.
Greatest of our generation, Drake is back, people. Let me tell you this, man. This is why you gotta critique your favorite. Don't dick ride your favorite, critique your favorite.
Like to catch a charge, head to the deposition, and act like the rapper named after the sex position. But let me tell you about my brother though.
Whoa! Now that's what we talking about, Drake. Let's rap, though. Let's rap, nigga. Let's rap, nigga.
Shit, bro. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know I love a good rap. But it's like, dog, there's nothing more to talk about. There's nothing more to say. If you just still hating at this point, you just hating to hate. But that's what people do. That's what people are there for, bro. They're there to hate. But I mean, he dropped these 6 tracks and like really shit on anybody and everyone, any and everybody that like got something to say or has done something negative, bro. I like this. I like this project for sure. For sure. Holy shit.
Now, saying that in recent years it's popular to hate on Drake is kind of an understatement at this point. And I feel like it's been like this since he dropped, I'd probably say Scorpion. Views kind of got mixed reviews, but since Scorpion, it's just been the popular thing to just hate or just discredit his writing ability. And I will say this, as the really big Kanye fan, I have tried to convince myself that I don't like Drake, but just being honest with myself, he's definitely someone that's like a top 5 listen to every year for me. I really like a lot of his old or newer stuff. I can, however, see the criticism with his music to where like it might seem repetitive. He doesn't really take a lot of breaks from music. He likes to drop frequently, which is there's nothing wrong with, but it's just like at this point in his life, it really feels like he has less and less to rap about because he's pretty much done for everything. And that's kind of why I'm not that critical about how good the source material or how deep his music is, because he's known for his hit making. He's known for making catchy songs. But Scary Hours 3 just proves that he could still write. He could still rap for real if he really wants to. And he could really still be the same vulnerable artist that he blew up and was known for. And before we get into the positives of the Scary Hours 3 EP, we have to get into the negatives of the past like 4 or 3 Drake albums. I believe Pusha T said it best in the story of Adidon. He said, your music in the past few years has been full of anger and lies. And this came out, 2018? For the longest time, it really just seems like Drake's just, all his albums, he's had just a majority of what he talks about in the topics is just dissing his haters, and it just comes off as kind of bitter. Like, he just doesn't really like any kind of criticism. And especially if you're as big as him, you're going to have to just deal with the kind of criticism. But for the longest time, it's just been, oh, I did this, they said I couldn't do this, or just shit like that. And a lot of his like problems just aren't really relatable anymore. Like, it just doesn't seem like he seems in a lot of his last albums, he just seemed more like an image than an actual person, because it's just the same problems, just bitches and money. It's not really relatable to anybody at this point. He's richer than pretty much everybody who listens to his music. And if you take away the vulnerability of his music, then it's not really Drake. That could be any other rapper. That's what really blew him up, was him being quote unquote soft or sensitive or just in tone with his emotions, that's what really blew him up to begin with. And I feel like once you make it to a certain amount, it's just like you don't really have the same drive or hunger to improve. And that's kind of what Drake, the little window he's been stuck in like the past 4 or 5 years. Because if you really don't care about your legacy and you could really just half-ass all your music and still do numbers and still do streams, go number one, then what is the point of improving if you're not really trying to make the best music for your career and legacy? You really don't have any point to try. On The Shoe Fits, Drake basically addresses the whole old Drake versus new Drake with the hook of the song. On the hook of the song, Drake says to all the ladies wondering why Drake can't rap like that same old guy, is because I don't know how anymore, I don't know how, yeah. And that's not all he talks about in the song. The song is basically just a timeline. Basically, he's telling the story of a girl who is with a guy who doesn't really deserve her and promises her things he can't provide. And it ends with her, of course, finding a better person who could actually provide for her.
What top 5 you smoking on, Kendrick? Because my top 5 is Drake, 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 Drake.
If you broke it off, then you know it wasn't painless. If you gotta watch, then you know it's not stainless. I was out here fucking.
Before the release of the Scary Hours 3 EP, which was 6 songs, up to 2021, Drake had released 71 songs already over the course of 4 different albums. Drake himself has said that he doesn't like going years without dropping music for his fans because he doesn't quote unquote try to be mysterious. And I could completely understand that, but you know the saying, like, the less you see someone, the more you miss them. The more you see someone, the less you miss them. I feel like that applies for music as well, and you can't really appreciate something if it's constantly being pushed out and in your face. And Drake is capable of making like songs that don't sound the same, but for the past couple years, you'll know a Drake song when you hear one. So just that many albums in that little of time, it makes people get tired of music, especially when it all kind of still all about women. Which is why I think the EP for Scary Hours and the Links, it's only 6 songs. I think it's perfect for an artist like Drake. Just because now that he's put this out, he could at least take 2 years off before he gives anything else out, and this was just way more digestible and enjoyable for fans because a lot of the music he's been dropping beforehand was really filler. Like all these albums have had hits, but compared to how many songs are just on that album, it just doesn't, like, they're not all memorable, they don't all like accomplish anything, and became pretty forgettable. Scary Hours 3 feels like he listened to his critics. He actually made something that people could listen to. He made it a good length. He actually tried to rap instead of replicating what other people have going on, like with Lil Yachty's beat in Another Late Night. I didn't really like that song. With the I Don't Give a Fuck by Yeet, which is his song. Instead of replicating it, he went back to old Drake, quote unquote old Drake, and just rapped over like some instrumentals for real, like some shit that sounds like some shit you would hear from like If You're Reading This It's Too Late for real. But he's rapping his age like Joe Budden wanted, and yeah, the whole EP was just way better than probably the past 3 Drake albums I've heard. And the thing with Drake has never really been about skill or talent. We know he has that. It's really just been about effort. And he solidified his legacy enough to where he doesn't really have to put effort in everything he drops. But projects like this show that it's still refreshing when he actually does try. And I could make a whole video just about all the great things and achievements that Drake has done in his 15, 16 year career. But you already know he's a legend, and really at this point it's not really cool to just hate on somebody just for it to be the popular thing. We should really just give Drake his flowers at this late in his career and just appreciate him for the artist he is now. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and like, comment, subscribe, comment your favorite Drake song or a rapper or some musician you would want me to make a video on and like what that video would be on. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and that's the end.